Hello. Lá Fhéileapóric Sana Dave. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all our Irish nurses across the northwest of England, but across the whole of the UK as well. My name is Jude Diggins, proud Irish woman today and Deputy Director of Nursing at the Royal College of Nursing. I just want to pay a brief tribute to the fantastic history of Irish nursing in the United Kingdom for the next minute or two. And I want to start perhaps with a very early Irish trailblazer, Donegal nurse Agnes Jones, who died in 1868, so was a contemporary of Florence Nightingale, but she became the first trained nursing superintendent of the Liverpool Workhouse Infirmary, contributing enormously to the welfare of sick paupers. But throughout the 20th century, we saw huge numbers of female, mostly female, Irish migrants helping out with a pressing need for nurses, particularly in England, exacerbated by two world wars. One of those was Galway nurse Mary Morris, and her diary about nursing duties in the D-Day invasion in Normandy was later published. Other notable Irish nurses were Mary Fleming, Aileen Turner, who received the George Medal for bravery for saving the lives of 17 patients during a bombing raid in London in 1941. With the advent of the NHS, huge numbers of nurses were recruited by the NHS from Ireland, and many came across, which might have seemed odd at the time, given how strict a Catholic country Ireland was, that they left their young women off to England in their droves. But a training salary, accommodation, the BDI of matron looking over them, it was seen to be a safe place to send your young women. And accommodation was actually often run like boarding schools. But times were tough for those Irish people who came across into the United Kingdom system. But by 1951, imagine 11% of all nurses and midwives in Britain were Irish. By 1971, about 12% of Britain's nurses were Irish born. And during the 1980s, which was when I trained, there was a huge lack of opportunity in Ireland. And so a whole new wave of school leavers came to the United Kingdom to pursue nursing careers. Many of my contemporaries came. I trained in Ireland. I was lucky to get a place, but many couldn't, and here they came. One such nurse was Mary Myers from Belmont in County Offaly, and off she came in 1987 to England, thinking she would get her training here and go back home. She chose Hillingdon Hospital, which some of you will know, in northwest London, because it was closest to Heathrow Airport. When she started her training in 1988, 50% of her class were Irish. On St. Patrick's Day the following year, she met her husband and ended up staying forever for the rest of her career in the United Kingdom. Others came during the 1980s because of the lack of nursing opportunities. They speak of really missing out on family life. And when you came to the United Kingdom in 1988, your salary was £125 a month. No Ryanair cheap flights in those days. A flight home was £125 a month. So either you got home regularly or you basically struggled to eat and certainly didn't have a social life. There has always been a focus on nurses from other countries. We've heard a lot in recent years about nurses from the Windrush era, but the Irish contribution has been crucial. 1971, 31,000 Irish-born nurses registered and working in the British NHS. You cannot ignore that whatsoever. I like to think that all of the migrant nurses have contributed hugely to the NHS and indeed independent sector and social care. They were the backbone, but I like to think of the Irish as the key vertebrae in all of that. I think we continue, as we know, across all care sectors, health and care sectors, to rely on migrant nurses. And I think post-Brexit, we may see even more Irish nurses coming again. And once again, Ireland becoming the reserve army, if you like, of labour in British health and care institutions. But I just want to say thank you to you all. Thank you for your contribution as Irish nurses in the United Kingdom. Sláinte and Lá Fhéileapóric Sana Dave.